All right, everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for watching, and please leave comments, like, dislike, subscribe, share. I am back with another Amico video, which I kind of didn't want to do, but of course, comments and questions being as they are. I want to make this clear, guys. I am not an Amico channel. I am not 100% for the Amico. I am not 100% against the Amico. In fact, my first reaction to this came here at E3 with the presentation of the Amico. I will play this E3 presentation for you guys. I'm sure a lot of you have seen it before, but those who haven't, I'd like to know your initial reaction to it. I pretty much thought it was a swing and a miss. Again, there are games I am interested in. However, I believe it's lacking that one big heavy hitter, or it lacked that one big surprise of, hey, one more thing, this is coming, that so many other companies at E3 do. I don't think it did enough to be qualified as a retro console, nor did it do enough to make the new players want the thing. Again, there's been a lot more stuff come out after this, up until what's out now. I totally recommend you check that out. Get informed. Try to go in with an open mind. Don't be for or against. Form your own opinion. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you dislike. Everybody has a voice. Everybody's opinion matters. And without further ado, let's go ahead and give the floor over to Tommy Tallarico and the E3 2021 presentation for the Intellivision Amico.
Hi, I'm Tommy Tallarico, and what an honor it is for Intellivision to be a part of this year's E3. I want to personally thank the ESA for having us be involved. And we have seen some incredible stuff. What a great time to be a gamer. I've been in the video game industry for over 32 years and have been a part of the creative teams that have made some of the greatest video games of all time, including things like Disney's Aladdin, Earthworm Jim, Tony Hawk Pro Skater, Metroid Prime, Guitar Hero. I'm even the guy who did the oof sound for Roblox. Ooh. Don't hate me. In fact, I own the Guinness World Record for the person who's worked on the most video games in their lifetime. My mother's very proud. But I'm here today to talk about Intellivision.
But enough about me. So, if there is one criticism I will agree with Tommy Tallarico, and I disagree with the haters. I think Tommy is a legend of this business. But one thing I will agree with them on is he builds himself up too much. He with this right here, this is supposed to be a presentation for the Intellivision Amico, and to me it sounds more like he's the product rather than the Amico. I believe that's a mistake. Don't get me wrong, he can toot his own horn, but when you're pushing a new company, you need to push the company and the product before yourself. Just my initial reaction.
And our brand new video game console, Amico. Now, Amico is the Italian word for friend, and that's basically what we've designed our entire system and games around. That friendship. That
looks like something cheap I would find on the clearance shelf over at Walgreens.
That multiplayer, that couch
Now that is a fake Photoshop photo.
Co-op experience. See, when I was growing up, we didn't have the internet to play video games, so if you wanted to play with somebody else, you went over their house or they came over to your house. It was everybody in a room. In fact, I bet if you're a hardcore gamer, you're probably like me, and I bet your fondest memories of playing games were when you were playing with other people in the same room together.
Stop. You are correct about that. Some of my favorite memories are going over a friend's house or having a weekender and just sharing games, playing games, fighting over those games. It's a different world today. The new generation, and even some of us old guys, I'm sorry, I'm Gen X, and I love Xbox Live. This idea of couch co-op, I think it's outdated. I think people want to have a controller in their hand. They want to have a headset. They want to, talk smack over Call of Duty. And wasn't there just a hacking group last year in Roblox that was, I mean, of course, let's not even get into the mod communities. Online is here, and it's only going to grow, and it's going to continue to grow. I don't think anyone's going to give that up because they had some warm, fuzzy feelings of what happened before the internet. Or before the internet was affordable anyway. Yeah, outdated.
That's what we're all about. Now look, I'm gonna be honest, for a lot of you out there watching this, I'm not gonna impress you with our teraflops and gigawatts and screaming processor and incredible lifelike graphics. That's not what we're about. What we are is a really simple, fun party machine that you can bring out when maybe some of your non-gaming friends come over. Maybe you have a husband or a wife who isn't into gaming as much as you are. Maybe grandma comes over and you want to play a simple motion control game or a card game or a book.
Yeah, the Wii sort of did that, as did Sony with the PlayStation Move and Microsoft with the Xbox Connect. And it all pretty much ended badly. A lot of Wii owners actually went out and got an actual controller or a Pro controller. The Wii Move was repurposed for PlayStation VR, and the Kinect just totally failed altogether. So motion controls was a nice experiment. It didn't work. We moved on. At the end of the day, I think we've learned people just want the controller in their hand.
Board game, dice, whatever it is. See, all of our games are built around fun and simplicity. That's the most important thing for us, and gathering people in a room together to do it. Here at Intellivision, we've assembled an incredible, passionate team of game makers who have over 600 years experience making some of your favorite games. Everything we do, we focus on bringing people together and having simple fun. In fact, we've designed our hardware entirely around those two things. So for example, our controller is really unique. It has a color capacitive touchscreen on it. It really comes in.
So you saw that diagram with the memory expansion in the back. If you look on the specs of the Amico, there is a micro SD slot. This was brought up earlier in the comment section of a past video. I'm wondering if you could use that to sideload games. My question is, if you did, how would they actually play with those unique controllers? Also, how many games could you load on an Amico? Because it's coming with 6, right? I wonder how many more you could load onto that before you need to expand the memory.
In handy when you're playing others that might not be as good as you in gaming, so it's a great way to give them little hints. For example, here in Shark, whoever's in last place, it will vibrate, because we have haptic as well, and then it shows the color of the clam that's going to release the next big bonus pearl. So only that player will get that information. And also, having a screen on every single controller gives you a lot of really cool and unique abilities to do game and game designs. For example, everybody has their cards and they can hide it in a game like Spades. And here you'll see it on Farkle, another one of our 6-pack-in games that you get free on every console. You can shake it and you'll feel the vibration. We have haptic feedback. And watch, you pour it out, boom, and the dice pour right out onto the screen. Motion controls are also really important, especially for casual gamers. So a lot of our sports and recreation, for example, will use that kind of motion control. You'll see here with Cornhole, you're throwing the bag into the hole. By the way, this is another game that comes free on every console. Now our main disc is really unique as well. Most direct
As an original Intellivision owner, the disc was the bane of its existence. I understand bringing this back as far as, you know, the look and because it's synonymous with the Intellivision, but could you not have done a trackball or a D-pad or something? I just remember just wishing I had an Atari joystick when playing the Intellivision.
directional pads have 8 positions, up, down, left, rights, and the diagonals. It has 64 directions and touch.
All right, you see that there, guys? I know that's a new thing where people were saying that you can't swipe on the Amico controller, that it's only touch. You see there, they're swiping. So I think someone's lying. I need to see the controller and the system in action myself before I make a judgment on who's lying here. But I mean, you clearly see them swiping. So it does look like there's a little bit of lag, though. I'm not going to lie about that either.
Sensitivity as well, so the harder I press down, it'll affect gameplay. Here's a feature I think a lot of gamers are going to love. I can take my controller, I can go over your house, dock it in your system, and because it recognizes that it's my controller, we can now play all of my games that I own on your system at your house. As long as my controller is there, my games are there as well.
So, big question here. You're tapping the new physical cards, right? You're tapping that, or what you call the gift cards, are going to tap on the console, download the game. Is it actually downloading it to the controller then, and not the actual console? So if something goes wrong with the controller, all the games are going to be gone. That's a question. I did see in this video the RFID reader is the console itself, not the controller, but for that to work, that means the controller has to, those games have to be on the controller, not the system. And then how much memory is on the controller, and what's the memory expansion for the console? I don't know if those were ever answered. I'm going to have to research that one.
Another cool feature that we incorporated is wireless.
And another thing, with all the haptic feedback, the gyroscope, the motion controls, the LED lights, and obviously it's got to have memory because it's loading those controllers, or it's got to have the memory for those games, right? So I can take it over to someone's house. What's the battery life of these things going to be? And not just as soon as you get it, a year down the road, or what have you, because I mean, I've had cell phones to where the battery life was awesome, and all of a sudden 6 months later it was dead in a few hours. So also interested in seeing the battery life of these controllers.
Wireless contact charging. So once you're done with your controller and your game's over, you just dock it right back into the base and it charges for you. Another unique feature of Amico is that we have interactive LED lighting all throughout the console itself, the base, and all of the controllers. We also have RFID built throughout the entire console, which means you can get a gift card, for example, tap it on the system, and it shows up immediately. You know what's really cool about having the focus be people playing together? I'll give you an example. Astro Smash is a 4-player game. At any point during the game, somebody can pick up a controller and just hit the ship they want and go right into the game at any point. Now, for all you collectors out there, you'll be happy to know that not only can you download games digitally, but we also have physical media as well, and we'll be releasing more information about that later.
Obviously, I'm not going to harp on this. I know he called it physical media, and yeah, you have your own opinions on that. I personally don't call them physical media. I call it I call it security key. It just unlocks a paywall. That's all it does.
Later this year. Now here's something I think a lot of gamers are going to appreciate. We don't allow any loot boxes, in-game purchases, in-app advertising, or paid downloadable content, but what we do.
So I guess EA's out.
Do have is an online leaderboard system for most of our games where you can go in there and check your scores against your state, your country, the world, or the month, the year, and of all time. And those scores tie into our achievements as well. So if you have the high score at the end of the month of your country, we're gonna email you a certificate that you can go print out and hang on your wall.
So I actually like that idea. Tommy, you're on the Atari Age Forum. Maybe you can talk to those guys into doing something similar, because they're holding seasons for Super Breakout and Space Invaders on high scores. But my whole thing too is with your company here is how much is that going to continue? You know, you might do it for the first few months, but I don't know. I couldn't imagine if this thing sold over 5 million or 10 million if that would continue to be a thing.
Now, as we all know, the most important part of any video game system are the games themselves. They all have to be super fun to play. And that's where...
Yes, which is a problem with the business model. All video games, you cannot sell the console at a profit. 3DO is the prime example of this. Software has to drive hardware. You make the money off the software. And I think this is a big disappointment. I know Tommy came out eventually and said it was a mistake for him to announce the $150 to $179 price tag originally for it, and now it's $250. The technology in there, I got to look into the controllers. I don't see it doing well at $250. I understand having to raise the price a bit because of the chip shortage. If this was $189, $199, I would kind of get it. Even if that meant you have to raise the prices of the games to maybe $12.99 or something to make a profit. But trying to give people a fair price on games and then trying to sell the console at a profit has just proven to be a formula that has failed time and time again in video games. Software has to drive the hardware, and big part of that is you got to have software that people want and that appeal to more than just a niche group, which again I think is a major weakness on the Amico here.
Where we really shine. In fact, all of our games on our system are highly curated. All of them contain a single and multiplayer or couch co-op mode, and all the games on our system are exclusive or contain exclusive content.
Containing exclusive content is the big one there. I don't think many of these games are going to be exclusive to the console. I know some of them already exist in different forms. Especially, he's going to come up with the Atari games here. I think Atari has done a fantastic job with the recharged line they're doing. I would be very shocked if these games would just stay on the Amico, say, by this time next year. I would almost guarantee, Atari is after some money, I would almost guarantee that they would be released on Steam, Xbox, PlayStation, Switch. It's just a business model. They know that VCS is not going to sell millions of consoles, and pretty much the Amico probably isn't going to sell that either. I just think, especially for Tommy, if you're serious about running the company and rebuilding the Intellivision brand, you got to look into what's financially the better move, not what a niche group of people from Atari age want.
Retro Reimagine, where...
Because if you continue to build a great brand and a great product, they're going to be with you either way. So, do what's right.
We take some of the greatest classic video games of all time, give them new graphics, new audio, add multiplayer and couch co-op. Some of the things we have, for example, 12 of the best games from Atari like Breakout, Asteroids, Tempest, Missile Command. We have games like Burger Time and Bump and Jump, and even some of the best Intellivision games from the past, Like Cloudy Mountain?
That's not Cloudy Mountain. Cloudy Mountain didn't take place in a dungeon. Um, that looks like my first impressions of it was. Did you remember Loaded, a game from Interplay that was one of the original PlayStation, or it launched right around the PlayStation's launch, where it was a top-down overview. Maybe sometimes it went to the isometric, but it was mainly top-down, and it had a lot of good lighting effects. Now, this isn't as bloody as Loaded was, but to me, it seemed like that kind of game. Took place more in a dungeon. It was more of a dungeon shooter than it is what Cloudy Mountain was. And Cloudy Mountain was, yeah, you went around and shot things with a bow and arrow, but it took place outside. It wasn't in a dungeon. I don't know.
And Night Stalker.
Night Stalker, it looked like the same type game. It looked like it was in a dungeon, and it was dark, but it was there to highlight the bright colors and lights of the characters. I really didn't see too much of a difference other than the map.
We have edutainment titles for kids 7 and under, things like Sesame Street and Care Bears. Now, our original IP category.
So, to all you people that says, you know, this thing is targeting you, it's my age, Generation X, that the Amico is targeting you. Are you really looking forward to playing Sesame Street and Care Bears? I'm willing to bet you guys pissed on these games when they launched on the NES or Genesis or something in the past.
Contains brand new games that we've created, a lot of times around our unique controller. Some of those games are platformers like Finnegan Fox, Bomb Squad, Space Strikers, Flying Tigers, and we even got the original Echo the Dolphin team to create our new title called Dolphin Quest.
Who asked for that? Even Sega didn't do that. Who asked for a reimagined or a something from Echo the Dolphin team? I personally, I mean, I love the Sega Genesis. I was a Sega fanboy. I remember calling you 1-800-USA Sega back in the day, getting put on hold, and music from Echo the Dolphin would play. Beautiful music, especially Echo. I think it's Tides of Times or whatever was on the Sega CD. And artwork, Boris Vallejo. I mean, gorgeous. But, God, nobody liked this game. No one that I knew. You know, I know Sega tried again with the Dreamcast, and it was a disaster. Yeah, who asked for Echo the Dolphin? And maybe that's because of something that Tommy personally had worked on, or he knew the people who did it, so that's why. I don't know. That's who asked for that.
We even take more modern games and add exclusive co-op modes. Games like Rigid Force Redux Enhanced and Dino Blaster. Now, our sports and recreational category not only has big sports like Major League Baseball and soccer, but also recreational sports like cornhole, skiing, pool, and many more. Now, our casual category contains many party games, dice games, board games, card games, things like spades, emoji.
I would have loved to see a reimagined Las Vegas poker and blackjack here.
Charades, and even award-winning board games like Blank Slate, Telestrations, and Ink and Gold. Now, I've already mentioned some really big partnerships and licenses like Major League Baseball and Sesame Street, but we have even more, including things like Mattel Hot Wheels, Harlem Globetrotters, and so much more. Now, we've previously announced that we're doing a brand new exclusive Earthworm Jim game for Intellivision. And we got the original team to be working on it. We wanted to do something special. So we're gonna give away 3 of these new prints. All of the team members signed it. All you have to do is email cow@intellivision.com with the subject line groovy, You have till the end of June to do that, and then we'll announce 3 winners at the end of the month. Well, thank you for spending.
All right, all you guys in the Amico community or even the hate groups, because I know you guys you put out a hate video, but then at the same time you throw Tommy your money anyway because you want to scout these things. But which one of you guys or gals out there have one of these things? Put it on your channel. I like to see it, or hit me with a tweet. I really want to see this this Earthworm Jim markup. I actually loved Earthworm Jim back on the Genesis, to be honest.
Spending a little time with us here today. Hopefully, as you can see, our approach is a little different than everything else that's out there, and we really don't view others as competition. What we're doing, we view as complementary to what the video game industry is doing. It's such an exciting time to be in the industry, to be a fan of the industry, and we are fans of the video game industry. And you know, if there's something that you've seen here today that might be of interest, or maybe you're a developer who wants to make some games for us, maybe you want to place a pre-order, please go to Intellivision.com. We want to hear from you.
Amico!
All right, so that was the presentation. I think at best this thing is going to just appeal to its niche gamers or the niche little collectors out there. And I don't mean that to be smug as far as saying little collectors, but come on, guys. This isn't going to be even a blip in history. This isn't even going to be a footnote. I think at best this will appeal to, again, the very niche gamers. I don't see this selling. I don't see this selling as well as a 32X. Honestly, I don't. I don't see this selling as, I don't know. I think Tiger.com or the Tiger Game.com will outsell this thing. I don't think it's going to be that well. Obviously, you guys might prove me wrong because you guys will probably order, 200 freaking copies of this thing. And that's another thing is, how is this going to be done? Are we going to be able to go to a Walmart or Target or order this over Amazon or something like that? Or do we have to order it only through Intellivision? Which is another wrinkle, because if that's the case, then most likely that it's even going to do worse than I think. I don't see a lot of people going into a GameStop and getting this thing either. Wow, I mean, I think at best it's going to appeal to a niche group, and I think at worst, it's going to be baby's first console. I remember doing an episode of a look back on my podcast where the whole reason for the formation of E3 came about because back when they did video games at the CES, they were never accepted as just regular consumer electronics. They were looked at as toys, and thus they were pushed aside. They were, you were debuting your Super Nintendo in the outdoors, rain, what have you. So that's why they got together and came about with their own trade show, and that was E3. Well, then that was for years the prevailing thought, and Howard Lincoln, the then president of Nintendo of America, fought against it so much was, we are not kids' toys. We deserve to be at CES with the other electronics companies. And the only reason why CES allowed it was because, Atari at the time, back in the day, had the deals with Sears. Magnavox was a big part of it, which was a big electronics company, RCA. So that they sort of was shown there, but at the same time, it was just, these are just toys. We have, in the video game industry, fought against that for so long that we are not toys. I believe the Amico here is a step back to that. I think it is again, at worst, it's going to be baby's first toy, first video game system. It's going to be there with the Leapfrogs and the VTEX, which, if that's the way Tommy can get into Target and Walmart, go for it. But it's going to get overlooked. Again, I don't see this thing lasting too long. Oh, tell me what you think. I'm not a hater of it. I wish it all the best. I mean, I pretty much would love to play a couple of the games that's on there. I want to get my hands on the system because I want to try out that controller. I'm excited for an Earthworm Jim. I love that game back in the 16-bit arena with the Genesis and the original team behind it. That would have me hype. I wish he would have had an extra punch. I wish he would have announced, a major third party that was on board to help him with this. Like, hey, Namco is making us some games and reimagining Galaga or whatever. Or, not Atari, which has their own thing out there. Another thing, I think Tommy's going to have to be realistic as far as trying to make money, and a lot of these Intellivision reimagined games is going to have to go to other platforms. It's got to make money. Any company, and it's okay to have a failed product, but the company has to survive at the end. And hopefully Tommy has the wherewithal to realize that and not get too lost in his own product here. To those who say this is a scam, I don't think so. I think, you can watch this. I think Tommy is genuine in his excitement and passion for this. And I think it definitely will get launched. I think we'll get something. But I just don't see it being a big success. I really don't. Again, I'm willing to give it a chance. I'm willing to buy one, but I'm not going to invest in it, and I'm definitely not going to be emotionally or financially vested to it. I'm not going to say, well, here's $250. As soon as it launches, I'm getting one. I might, but at the same time, I'm not going to forsake something else that might come along, who knows, maybe Nintendo or Sony will have something at the point. Maybe, maybe I want to play, I don't know. Anyway, there's always something new that comes along that grabs my attention anyway. But anyway, this is kind of my final thoughts until I see, or I get to play the system myself, or there's some big announcement that comes along, that big surprise that I think he needed here, he didn't give. But, there's always next week, who knows? There's always tomorrow. Yeah, guys, comment down below, and until next time, I wish you the best of goodbyes.